Imagine your friend coming up to you and telling you that when they were in high school, they were excused to recess and they would play in the field out back and they would trip over these stones and bricks, which at that time they had no idea what they were, but later discovered as they got older that they were headstones and grave markers. When they brought it to the attention of the staff, they were largely dismissed and told to forget about it. I'll give you a little bit more details on this in just a sec. Okay, fast forward 20 years, the gentleman comes to me, tells me to this very day, he still doesn't have any idea what the cemetery is or if there is a cemetery or why the headstones are there. It's a total mystery to him and most everyone he's ever talked about. I went to the location with him to check out his story, and it's exactly as he described. There are old headstones, there's remnants of an old cemetery, like fence perhaps, maybe even an entrance gate. When you first walk in there, I can assure you, unless you're looking for it, you wouldn't really recognize it being a cemetery. But since I kind of knew what to look for, when I walked in there, I started noticing evidence that it was a cemetery at one point. So we're going to do a little research, try to find out what it's all about, what happened to it, why it's there, why no one knew what the history was when he was a child and his classmates were playing out there. So I'm going to do a little research. I'm going to see if I can find out something, and then I would like to jump into Google Earth with you guys so I can show you the property and some of the features that I noticed when I was there. So let me do a little research, find out what I can discover about this location, and we'll go over a little bit of it and we'll do it in Google Earth, and then we'll probably go out there in person and I'll show you this place on the ground together. All right, well, let's get started. All right, guys, you can see that I already have this queued up. Okay, this is the property in question here. This is the school that the gentleman told me about, and this primarily here is the area in which the children would go to recess. Now, if you notice the property here, you can see that it is a kind of a rectangle, and there is remnants of an old fence, not the chain link, but an old fence. These are concrete fence posts. This is the large post that I think is evidence that there was an entrance gate here. You also see the concrete fence posts along the western border of the property. Now, I was told that they would be recessed. They would come out, they would do their thing and stumble over, fall in this area, trip over stuff, and they would come in here and they were dismissed. So, again, as I said before, had no idea. There was no information. He asked all the people that worked in here, all his friends, and for nigh on 20 years, there was no answer. He had no idea what it was. So he brought it to my attention, and I, of course, first step, most people do, they just Google it. I did it with the addresses, I did it with the business names, I did it on the county, I did it in the cities. I pretty much Googled and searched on all the search engines at my disposal, found zero information. So then I was like, okay, well, I don't really want to continue or do any sort of video until I can get some information on this property. So I kind of got to a dead end there for a moment. I said, well, you know what? Let's start with the school board. So I went to the school board. The school board says, well, you need to talk to the city of West Palm. So I called the city of West Palm. Well, the city of West Palm told me that this is not city property, but it's county property, and gave me another number of the county to call. And I spoke with a very nice, these people were very helpful, by the way, just absolutely concerned, and they were gracious, very helpful. And I was given another number for a historian of Palm Beach County, whom I called, and she then referred me again to a archaeologist for the Palm Beach County, because come to find out, this is a Palm Beach County property. So once I got to the archaeologist, I was also referred to the Palm Beach County Historical Society, who then I reached out to them as well. Now, both the archaeologist and the Palm Beach County Historical Society returned my email and my phone calls both, and gave me pretty much the only known information about this property. Now, what I understand is everyone other than the Historical Society and the archaeologists, there are no other sources of information on this property. But what this is the old cemetery for the Palm Beach County home, which is basically a poorhouse. Now, they have these county homes all over America, but that's what this property is. So this is a cemetery. It was used primarily when one of the residents of the county home passed away, because in the county homes, they were destitute, poor individuals, sometimes socially unaccepted, and also there was some mental illness involved. So they pretty much couldn't care for themselves. So they would lay to rest here. Now, there were also other stories of unlawful abortions being performed in the facility near here, and they're using this as a burial site for those procedures. Also, there was a story about a area where they were disposing of limbs that they were amputating. Some kind of dark stuff going on the property. But I was told that is not necessarily true. Those are just secondhand accounts. So, but that's what this is. It's the county home cemetery. So I did reach out to my friend and let him know that he was not mistaken. This is a cemetery, and these the people that worked here, the faculty and staff, probably would have no idea in no way unless to know what that was, what this is, and what they were tripping on, unless they did some extensive research, because it took me a few weeks just to track down any information. Now, I'm assuming 10 years from now, if this place is not preserved, it's not fenced, it's not documented, we may lose this altogether, and no one alive will know what this is. So the efforts that the Historical Society and the archaeologists for Palm Beach County, the efforts they're doing is incredibly important to preserve this area here. I'm glad that, and I hope that I was part of that effort to preserve this through bringing attention to it and asking about the future of this facility. So I did go out there. I did walk out there, do a walkthrough. I'm going to share that with you guys once we get off the Google Earth, and you guys can take a walk out there with me and we'll check it out. And before I end the video, if any other information comes to my attention, I'll share it with you. So let's get out of here and let's go out to the property and take a look at it. All right, let's go. All right, guys, here we are on property. As promised, I'm going to take you for a short walk and show you some of the things that we were highlighting on the Google Earth images. You'll see it's kind of humid this morning, so I've got a little excuse me, I got a little fog on my glasses, but here we go. Let's try to make this quick for you guys. Right here, the children would come out this location over here or between the buildings for recess. And this is I'm just repeating what I was told, so if it's not exactly correct, then I apologize. But they would come out of the building right here and they would go to recess. Now you can immediately see, as I pointed out in the Google images, the fence posts, which are indicative of a old, maybe wrought iron cemetery fence. And the children said they would come out here and they would play. And well, I was told the children would come out here and play. And they were noticing they were tripping over concrete, little bricks, stones in the ground. The pillars for the fence continue along the edge of the property, and they go way back there. We go a little closer. Then this borders the road over here. Now the children would come, and they were playing, having a good time, and they would trip, and they kept tripping over and over, and they kept looking, and this is what they were seeing. These here are indeed headstones. They have markers on them. I'm not going to move them, but these are lot numbers on there. So they did have at some point, it looks like a record, and you can see they continue in a row, as any modern cemetery would, or any cemetery that I know of. And so these nameplates are missing off this one. There's a nameplate on this one. Nameplate missing on this one. So you can see it's laid out in a perfect row, as would any cemetery. You have stones over here. Now, to my knowledge, this particular property, they maintain it, they mow it. I don't know what the zoning is on it, but I don't think anybody has any plans of ever building on it that I know of. And there is still, since I started my research on this property, I have been told that there is plans to continue investigating this property. You can see over here again, there's a large, looks like a large monument of some sort has fallen down. But certainly here, another row here. You can see another row coming here. Now, the children would fall, stumble on these things. They would go and tell the staff or faculty. They were either ignored or dismissed. So whether they knew about it and they didn't want to talk of it, or they didn't have any idea what they were talking about, and didn't care, I don't know. I can't speak for them, but I was told that they were pretty much told to don't worry about it. So that's the information I got secondhand from someone who was actually here and involved with it years ago. So again, we're going to continue with the property. Here you go. You can see the posts, which is absolutely, this is a fence post of some sort. You can see where they were hanging it there. Right in here, there's down there. Now these are the pillars that I would guess, I pointed these also on the Google image, also pointed these out on the image, and you see they're spaced perfectly. In between there, kind of looks like there was a gate here at some point. So if I had to guess, this was the entrance coming into the property. And so what I was told in my research by the individuals that do the historic research in this area, I was told that there was a county home that bordered the property, and they would use this property when the patients or the residents of the county home would pass away, and they'd have to lay them to rest. They didn't necessarily have any people, but you can see there's lot numbers on the stones, so there's probably records somewhere. And what I understand, they're actively looking for them right now. So these people, I don't know whether it's due to my research and questioning or it was ongoing, but either way, I wanted to be involved in telling these the story of the people who were laid to rest here, and hoping that I would help in some way to preserve this area. So, but going on about, but continuing on, you can see the posts continue all the way to the back of the property. So this entire lot, and as we can see on the Google image, this entire property was at one point used as a cemetery, because they went to the effort and cost, the county went to the cost of erecting this gate and securing this property at one time. So now the county home, what I understand, now this is the part that gets a little foggy because I'm not sure, and this is just what I've been told and what I could find out. Now the county home was bordering this property somewhere. I do not think it was over here, because there's a road here and there was always some facility over there. There is now a new facility. Here, as far as I can tell, this has been here for a very long time. This property was built in the 2000s. This particular building, if you use the Google imaging, slide it back in time, this building disappears. It's a pretty poor image, but you can see there's just simply a vacant lot there with a single building. Now, I'm not saying that that was the county home. I'm just saying that's the most likely place it would have been. So again, you can see how amazing it would be for somebody to walk up and say, hey man, we used to be in recess and we used to walk around in a cemetery and we were told don't worry about it. And that's pretty much the truth. That's what happened here. This was a lost facility. Nobody really knows what it is. There were some rumors about it, like maybe the headstones were just put here and some other facility was exhumed and then they put them back here. But when I talk to the people that actually know, like the Research Historical Society, the archaeologists in this area, they told me that this was definitely the facility they used for the county home. There was also some nefarious stuff that he told me about. I don't really know if that's true, but it was some pretty awful stuff. It's a sad story, but there's a happy ending, and we will get into that in a little bit later. Right now we're gonna get out of here, and I'll wrap the story up when we get out of here. I don't like to spend a lot of time wandering around back here because I don't want anyone to think that I'm doing anything trespassing or anything criminal. So we're gonna wrap it up here, but I wanted to take you a walk and briefly show you this place. It's pretty amazing, and I think you'll agree. It's a pretty sad tale, and but like I said, I think it's gonna have a happy ending. I'm gonna do a little bit more research before I finish up the conclusion of this story, and but we'll talk about that a little later. So for the now, guys, we will see you back at the shop or wherever you're going, but I'm going back to the shop because I have to wrap up some information on this video. So all right guys, have a great day, be good to one another, and I'll see you in a little bit. Hey guys, final word on this video and location. I was assured that there is going to be a continuing effort to document and preserve this location and bring dignity and respect those that were laid to rest here. I am proud and honored that Tropical Haunts could be part of that effort. There are many people who work tirelessly to document, preserve, and bring dignity to these locations. One of those organizations is Palm Beach County Historical Society. I am going to put their link in the description box below. I suggest anyone that gets a chance to support their efforts that they do so. I am glad that Tropical Haunts can be part of these efforts. If you enjoy our work and you believe that what we do is a noble cause, then please like, subscribe, and comment so it helps us continue our work and helps us spread our message to other people. That being said, everyone take good care of yourselves, be good to one another, and we will see you on the next one.